Welcome my dear students to the lecture on design of simply supported one-way slab. This lecture basically cover unit 9.1 of design of RCC structure, which is offered in 5th semester of diploma in civil engineering program. Learning objective of this lecture. At the end of this lecture, the student will be able to state the use of different type of RC slab in construction, classify the slab based on load transfer, support condition, shape, method of construction, etc. Explain the one-way and two-way action of slab. They can assume the depth of slab required for control of deflection for different support condition. Select nominal cover to reinforcement in slab to meet durability and fire resistance requirement. Student will be able to state the maximum diameter of a bar that can be used in a particular slab of given depth. They can decide the maximum spacing of reinforcing bar along two directions of slab. They calculate minimum reinforcement required to control the effect of shrinkage and temperature in slab. And finally, student will be able to design a simply supported one-way slab by applying design principle and stipulated guidelines in of IS 456, and finally they can draw the detailing of reinforcement of such one-way slab after the design. Slab is a two-dimensional structural element because the thickness of the slab is very small compared to its length and breadth. There are different type of use of slab. As you know, in building structures, slabs are used as floors and roof. Also, they are used in water tank. Slab used as a deck slab in bridges, and also used in different type of staircases, and there are so many other applications of slab. Generally, slabs are supported on walls or beam, but sometimes you may find slabs are directly supported on columns, as in the case of flat slab. Slabs are generally support and transmit vertical loads to the walls or beams and sometimes to the column, and also play an important role to restrict lateral deformation in multi-storing building frame against lateral load like wind load and earthquake load due to the action as a rigid diaphragm of having large stiffness. Slabs can be classified as one-way slab and two-way slab based on the way they are transferring the load. Based on support condition, slab can be classified as simply supported slab, continuous and cantilever slab. Based on the shape, slab may be rectangular, square, trapezoidal, circular and triangle. Based on the method of construction, slabs are precast, cast in situ and pre-stress. Slab also can be classified as solid slab, ribbed slab and waffle type of slab. Here I shall discuss about one-way action of slab. In figure 1 you see this is a slab of which the length of the longer side is Ly and Lx is the length of the shorter side, and the slab is supported only on its two sides. And when a slab is supported only on two sides, then predominant mode of flexure will be only in one direction. So in figure 1, this slab is supported only on its two longer side. So here the predominant mode of flexure will be in shorter direction. However, if this slab is supported on its two shorter side, in that case the predominant mode of flexure will be along the longer direction. Now in figure 2 you see this is a slab which is supported on its four side and the ratio of longer span to shorter span is greater than 2. So for this type of slab, the bending moment will develop in the shorter direction as well as in the longer direction. But as the ratio of longer side to the shorter side is greater than 2, then the bending moment which will develop in the longer direction will be very less compared to the bending moment developed in the shorter direction. So for this type of slab, that means when a slab is supported on all four sides and the aspect ratio is greater than 2, In that case, for our convenience, we shall analyze and design that type of slab by approximated as one-way slab. So finally, we can say that primary reinforcement is to be provided in uniform spacing along the direction in which bending moment is predominant to take care of tensile stresses which will develop due to the bending moment. And secondary reinforcement is to be provided along the other direction in which bending moment is not predominant but only to take care of tensile stresses which may arise due to secondary bending moment in that particular direction and caused by Poisson effect, non-uniform or concentrated loading, temperature and shrinkage effect. And also, when we shall design a slab, we shall consider 1 meter strip as shown in the figure 1 and figure 2. Here in figure 3, you see the ratio of longer span to the shorter span is less than equal to 2. Now, when a slab is supported on all four sides and the ratio of longer span to shorter span is less than equal to 2, then this slab will be designed as a two-way slab. Here, the bending moment is predominant along the shorter direction and also in the longer direction. So, the main reinforcement is to be provided along shorter direction and also along the longer direction. And also, when we shall design this type of slab, we shall consider 1 meter strip along the two orthogonal direction. Now, I shall discuss about design consideration for simply supported one-way slab as per IS 456-2000. So first we shall know how to calculate the effective span of a one-way simply supported slab. So this is given in clause number 22.2a in IS 456-2000. So effective span of a simply supported slab or beam as per code is equal to clear span plus effective depth or center to center distance between the support, whichever is less. So in figure 8 you see clear span is equal to capital L and width of the brick wall support is BW and effective depth is small d. So effective span will be equal to L plus D or center to center distance between supports, which is L plus BW by 2 into 2 equal to L plus BW, whichever is less. Now I shall discuss about how to calculate or how to assume thickness of slab. As per IS 456-2000, the serviceability requirement for deflection is controlled by span to effective depth ratio. Now this span to effective depth ratio is depends on different support condition and the span length. Now for cantilever slab, if the span is less than 10 meter, it is 7, and if the span is greater than 10 meter, then we have to calculate actual deflection. In case of simply supported slab up to span 10 meter, the basic value is 20, and in case of continuous slab up to span 10 meter, the basic value is 26. However, if the span is greater than 10 meter, then this basic value 20 and 26 will be multiplied by a factor 10 by span in meter. Now this basic value will be further modified by a modification factor KT, which is depends on percentage of tensile steel and type of reinforcement steel, and you will obtain the value of this KT from figure 4 of IS 456-2000. Now initially we may assume effective depth small d equal to effective span that divided by 25 for a simply supported one-way slab, and this value will be sufficient to satisfy the deflection criteria of one-way simply supported slab. Now I shall discuss about the minimum area of reinforcement as per clause 26.5.2.1. For plain mild steel bar, minimum area of reinforcement shall not be less than 0.15% of gross cross-sectional area. For high strength deformed bar, it shall not be less than 0.12% of gross cross-sectional area. And when we will calculate the gross cross-sectional area, we shall consider small b equal to 1000 millimeter and capital D is the overall depth of the slab in millimeter. A maximum diameter of reinforcement bar as per clause 26.5.2.2. The maximum diameter of reinforcing bar of one-way and two-way slab shall not exceed 1/8 of the total thickness of slab. Spacing of reinforcement bar as per clause 26.3.3b. For main reinforcement, it shall not be more than 3D or 300 millimeter, whichever is smaller. And for distribution or secondary reinforcement, to control shrinkage and temperature stresses, it shall not be more than 5D or 400 millimeter, whichever is less. However, after third revision of IS 456-2000, this 400 millimeter become 300 millimeter. Now I shall discuss about cover to reinforcement bar. As per IS 456-2000, separate nominal cover are given to meet the durability and fire resistance requirements. Nominal cover to meet durability requirement depend on the type of exposure condition which is given in table 16 of IS 456, and here you will see the cover requirement is varying from 20 millimeter to 75 millimeter. Now nominal cover to meet specified period of fire resistance is varying from 0.5 to 4 hours is given in table 16A of IS 456. Now when we shall design a slab, we shall take appropriate value of nominal cover as per particular requirement of structure. Now I shall discuss step by step procedure to design a simply supported one-way slab. So this is our problem. Design a simply supported RCC floor slab for a room having clear dimension 3 meter by 7.5 meter. The slab is supported on 230 millimeter thick brick wall, only a longer side. The building is exposed to a moderate environment. Assume dead load due to finish is 1 kN per square meter and live load 4 kN per square meter. Adopt M20 grade concrete and Fe 415 HYSD steel. Use limited method. Now these are the all data which are given in the problem. Only you see you have to take the value of nominal cover from table 16 for the given condition. So as the building is exposed to a moderate environment, so the required nominal cover as per table 16 of IS 456 is 30 millimeter. And also for M20 grade concrete, characteristic strength of concrete FCK will be equal to 20 Newton per square millimeter, and for HYSD Fe 415 HYSD bar, the characteristic strength of steel will be equal to 415 Newton per square millimeter. And since the slab is supported only on its two sides and the ratio of longer span to shorter span is greater than 2, the slab will be designed as a one-way slab. Now here you see the overall depth of the slab is not given. The overall depth D will be equal to effective depth plus nominal cover plus the dia of main reinforcement to be used in shorter direction. So nominal cover we have 30 millimeter. We shall calculate the effective depth, or we shall assume the effective depth based on the deflection criteria, and we may assume 10 mm dia bar initially as main reinforcement in the shorter direction. However, after designing, when we will calculate the spacing, we may adopt lesser dia of main reinforcement, that is instead of 10 millimeter we can use 8 millimeter dia bar as main reinforcement in shorter direction, and in that case also will be in the safer side. So first we will calculate the thickness of the slab, assuming effective depth D is equal to span divided by 25 equal to 3000 divided by 25 equal to 120 millimeter, nominal cover equal to 30 millimeter, assuming 10 mm diameter bar to be used. So the overall depth D will be equal to effective depth equal to 120 millimeter plus nominal cover plus half the dia of main reinforcement to be used in the shorter direction. that is equal to 10 divided by 2, so it will be equal to 155 millimeter. Now the effective span will be the least of the clear span plus effective depth equal to 3000 plus 120 equal to 3120 millimeter equal to 3.120 meter, and center to center distance between the support, which is equal to 3000 millimeter plus 230 divided by 2. 230 is the width of the support into 2 millimeter equal to 3230 millimeter, which is equal to 3.230 meter. So obviously from the above two, the least is 3.120 meter, so the effective span of the slab is 3.120 meter. Now calculation of loads. Now obviously self weight of the slab will be equal to overall depth D, which is equal to 155 millimeter equal to 0.155 meter into 25 kilonewton per meter cube, which is unit weight of reinforced cement concrete, which is equal to 3.875 kilonewton per square meter, and finish load, which is given as 1.0 kilonewton per square meter. So total dead load become 4.875 kilonewton per square meter, and live load given is 4.0 kilonewton per square meter. So total service load by adding these two, dead load plus live load, which is become 8.875 kilonewton per meter square. So as we design in limit state method, so you have to multiply this service load with partial load factor. So for a dead load and live load combination, we know it will be equal to 1.5. So the factored load WU equal to 1.5 into service load W, which is equal to 1.5 into 8.75 is equal to 13.313 kilonewton per meter square. Now if we consider 1 meter strip, so the load per unit length will be equal to 13.313 kilonewton per meter. Now just see, so this is the slab, which is basically will be designed as a simply supported beam of width 1 meter. So here this is the slab of which the effective length is 3.120 meter, and it is subjected to a vertical loading which is equal to WU equal to 13.313 kilonewton per meter. So as we know, this is the bending moment diagram of a simply supported slab or simply supported beam. Now the maximum bending moment, it will be equal to WU L square by 8 at the midspan, and also this is the shear force diagram of which the maximum shear force will be at support, and which is equal to WU L by 2. So this is the calculation of design bending moment and shear force. By just putting the value of WU and my effective length L, will get the design moment equal to 16.20 kilonewton meter, and the design shear force VU equal to 20.77 kilonewton. Now we have to check the depth, whether the depth is sufficient to resist the bending moment 16.20 kilonewton meter or not. So for that, first we consider the XU limit by D. The XU limit by D for Fe415 grade steel equal to 0.48, which is given in page number 70 of IS 456, and the corresponding limiting moment is 0.138 FCK into BD square. Now the effective depth required to resist the 16.20 kilonewton meter bending moment is equal to root over mu by 0.138 FCK into B. Now putting the value of mu equal to 16.20 into 10 to the power 6 Newton millimeter, B equal to 1000 millimeter, and FCK equal to 20 Newton per square millimeter, we have depth, effective depth required equal to 76.61 millimeter, which is less than the effective depth provided equal to 120 millimeter. Hence the assumed depth is adequate. Now we calculate the tensile reinforcement required in shorter direction. So as the effective depth provided is greater than the effective depth required for bending, the section will be designed as under reinforced section. Now to calculate the tensile reinforcement required for under reinforced section, we will use the Codal formula, which is given here, Now putting the value of mu equal to 16.20 into 10 to the power 6 Newton millimeter, Fy equal to 415 Newton per square millimeter, Fck equal to 20 Newton per square millimeter, B equal to 1000 millimeter, D equal to 120 millimeter, and solving this equation we have tensile reinforcement required in shorter direction AST, which is equal to 402 millimeter square. Now check for minimum AST. As we know, for high strength deformed bar, the minimum AST should not be less than the 0.12% of gross cross-sectional area. So here AST minimum reinforcement is here the AST minimum equal to 0.12 into 1000 into 155, that divided by 100 equal to 186 square millimeter, which is less than 402 square millimeter. Hence, okay. Now we'll find out the spacing. Spacing is equal to 1000 into Fi, that divided by AST. Now for 8 mm bar, cross-sectional area of a bar equal to 50.26 square millimeter, AST equal to 402 square millimeter. So spacing is equal to 125 millimeter. Now we have to check whether this spacing is less than the maximum spacing allowed by the code. Now maximum spacing allowed is equal to 3D, which is equal to 3 into 120 millimeter equal to 360 millimeter, or 300 millimeter, whichever is less. Here the minimum value is 300 millimeter. So the spacing provided or spacing calculated is S equal to 125 millimeter is less than the maximum spacing 300 millimeter. So adopt a spacing 8 millimeter bar at the rate of 125 millimeter center to center in shorter direction with alternate bar bent up at the support. Now how you will bend up the alternate bar at the support, it will be discussed in the detailing part. Now we will calculate the distribution reinforcement required in longer direction to control the effect of shrinkage and temperature effect. Now distribution reinforcement will be the minimum reinforcement. So here the minimum reinforcement, that is AST minimum, is equal to 186 square millimeter, assuming 8 mm bar to be used as distribution reinforcement. So spacing will be equal to 1000 into Fi, that divided by AS, which will be equal to 270 millimeter. Now this spacing must be less than the maximum spacing allowed for the distribution reinforcement. So as per code, the maximum spacing for distribution reinforcement equal to 5D, equal to 5 into 120 millimeter equal to 600 millimeter, or 450 millimeter, whichever is less. So here the lesser value is 450 millimeter. So spacing provided S equal to 270 millimeter is less than the maximum spacing 450 millimeter. So it is okay. So adopt 8 millimeter bar at the rate of 270 millimeter center to center in longer direction. Now we shall check the shear stress. Now to check the shear stress, first we calculate the nominal shear stress tau v, which is equal to Vu by Bd equal to 20.77 into 10 to the power 3 Newton, that divided by B equal to 1000 into small d equal to 120 millimeter, which becomes 0.173 Newton per square millimeter. Now percentage of tensile reinforcement at the midspan, that is provided, equal to AST provided, that divided by BD into 100%, which is equal to 0.335%. Now as 50% reinforcement in shorter direction are bent up near the support, so AST available at support, which will be equal to 0.335, that divided by 2 equal to 0.1675%. Now corresponding this PT equal to 0.1675% and M20 grade concrete, we have design shear strength of concrete tau c equal to 0.294 Newton per square millimeter from table 19 page number 73. Now for solid slab, the design shear strength of concrete is equal to K into tau, which is given in page number 72. Now for overall depth D equal to 155 millimeter, we obtained K equal to 1.29. Hence, the design shear strength equal to 1.29 into 0.294 equal to 0.379 Newton per square millimeter, which is less than the nominal shear stress equal to 0.173 Newton per square millimeter. Hence, the slab is safe in shear. Now, we shall check deflection of the slab to satisfy the limit state of serviceability criteria. Now, how we shall check it? First, we shall open the figure 4 of IS 456. Then we will consider the percentage of reinforcement at midspan. In our case, it is 0.335%, and the Fs equal to 0.58 Fy into AST required that divided by AST provided, which is equal to 240.65 Newton per millimeter square. Now corresponding this PT equal to 0.335% and Fs equal to 240.65 Newton per millimeter square millimeter, we shall obtain the value of KT from the figure 4. Here we have obtained the value of KT from the figure 4 equal to 1.42. Now we will calculate the effective depth required, that is equal to 3120, which is the effective span, that divided by basic value 20 into modification factor 1.42, which becomes 110 millimeter, which is less than the effective depth provided 120 millimeter. Hence, the deflection criteria is satisfied. Now we shall check development length required. So as per IS 456 in page number 44, the positive moment reinforcement should extend by a length at least LD by 3 beyond the face of the support. So first we calculate the LD equal to 0.87 Fy by 4 tau BD into 5. Here Fy equal to 415 and tau BD for M20 grade it is 1.2, and it is further increased by 60% due to deform bar, and phi is here 8 mm. So the value will be equal to 376 millimeter. So LD by 3 will be equal to 125 millimeter. Now if we provide this length beyond the face of the support, in that case and we need the support with at least 125 millimeter plus 30 millimeter which nominal cover, which is equal to 155 millimeter, but the available width of the support is 230 millimeter. So this condition will automatically be satisfied. Now again, as per clause 26.2.3.3c of IS 456/2000, at the simply support, the following condition must be satisfied. What is the condition? The condition is 1.3 into M1 by V plus L0 should be greater than LD, where M1 is the moment of resistance of the section at the support is computed as below. Since AST provided is almost equal to AST required and half the reinforcement are bent up near the support, the moment of resistance at support is considered as half of moment of resistance at the midspan. So it will be equal to 0.5 into 16.20 kilonewton meter, which is equal to 8.10 kilonewton meter, which is equal to 8.10 into 10 to the power 6 Newton millimeter. Now the shear force at support, which is equal to 20.77 into 10 to the power 3 Newton. Now what is L0? L0 is the sum of anchorage value beyond the center of the support. Now if we put the value of M1 and V, so it will be equal to 1.3 into 8.1 into 10 to the power 6, that divided by 20.77 into 10 to the power 3 plus L0, which should be greater than LD. So this value is become 507 millimeter plus L0, which should be greater than 370 millimeter. So if we not provide any anchorage beyond the center of the support, then also this condition will be satisfied. So development length for this criteria is satisfied with anchorage length. So this is the detailing part. First see the section XX. Here this is the slab of which the overall dimension overall depth D equal to 155 mm, clear span equal to 3 meter, and the support width is 230 mm. First see the bottom reinforcement in the shorter direction. The bottom reinforcement are 8 mm bar at the rate of 125 mm center to center, and these bar are bent up at a distance 0.1 lx from the support, where lx is the 3.120 meter. These bars are provided, you just see the plan, these bars are provided in alternate manner. Now these are the distribution reinforcement which are provided in the longer direction. So this is the spacing of the distribution reinforcement as we have obtained 8 mm at the rate of 270 mm center to center. Now at least 2 number of distribution bars should be provided at the top near the support. So this is all about the detailing part. These are the different questions. You students are requested to solve these questions. To solve these questions, I hope that student will be able to answer all these questions. So these are the references. First you see the IS 456 2000. This is published by Bureau of Indian Standard. Students are requested to please go through the codal provision of IS 456 2000 used to solve the problem. This will also help you to solve the numerical problem in the semester examination. And here you will see the different books on RCC design. All these books are very useful for us. Students are requested to please go through all these books if possible and try to solve the example as well as exercise problem given in this book. So surely you will be benefited from this. So, thank you very much and have a good day.